when you got involved with the Corps,
Yeah.
Was that a shift in your career?
Yeah, I remember in '09, my daughter was born.
Madison?
Madison,
Okay.
that's right. And I've never shared this story with you, but
Okay.
I've told some other people. We were at the hospital. We were at St. David's. No, we were at Seton, Maine, I think, with Madison. Anyway, I had like 5 or 6 loans closing that week. And that year in '09, I missed 2 days of work. And one was Christmas Day, and one was June 2nd, when she was born.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so literally I worked the other holidays.
Okay.
And we were lean. I was hustling, like I said, closing a bunch of loans with no processor. It was pretty rough. And I remember I was on my phone, on my email, in the delivery room, and I told Laura I had to make a phone call. So I told her, I was like, hey, I'm hungry. I'm going to run down to the cafeteria.
Which was true.
Yet
there was something
else. I
else.
was hungry to get that loan closed, right? So
Right.
I went down to the cafeteria and I called my underwriter at the time, and I pushed a couple more loans through, and they sent someone to find me because she was literally delivering. They were like, you're going to miss Madison's birth. So I hauled butt back upstairs, got there with 15 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
And she delivered Madison. And then a day and a half later, they released us from the hospital.
Yeah.
And we're on our way home. And I'm like, hey, let's stop by the office. I need to talk. I want to show, let's stop by the office. I want to show Madison off. A bunch of people are going to want to meet her, right?
Yeah, right.
And meanwhile, my wife is sitting in the front seat on like a pack of ice, like sitting on a pack of ice, right, in the car while I run in. And so here I go. I'm running in with the carrier. I set Madison down in the front lobby on the coffee table. 2 days old.
Yeah.
I'm like, watch her. And I ran back and I went into my underwriter's office. And I was like, hey, we got to talk on the Smith file. We still need this. I need you to waive that condition. It's got to close tomorrow. It's for my best agent, right? And I let Laura sit in the car for 45 minutes.
So did the ice melt? It was June, right?
Yeah.
Did you have vinyl seats? I mean, what's going on here?
Right?
Right.
So this is more than you want for this podcast.
Yeah, maybe it's not as much as we need.
We don't need this
maybe
much
right. We need to hear this kind of stuff. So you're setting your baby that's 2 days old on the counter at the office for 45 minutes. You're in there.
Felt like 10, brother.
Yeah, that's how it is.
I mean,
man.
I had 3 or 4 files we had to go over.
So do you
I grab her, I run back out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in trouble. I run back out to the car. I'm like, everybody had to hold her. They wanted to take pictures with her.
Now, does Laura know this story?
I told her.
Or is she finding out right now?
I told her about 10 years later. Yeah.
Wow, man. So that's just one level of dedication that it takes, or that it's perceived to take, to get to the other side in this industry.
I think that's an example of being super out of balance and broken.
There you go.
And I remember maybe the next month, probably the next week, she was like, so are you moving in the guest room or am I?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's wrong, honey? Right?
Yeah.
Because I was super checked out. I was working long hours. I did not have any staff.
Yep.
Didn't know how to build a team.
Yep.
I wasn't a good boss. I wasn't a boss because I didn't have anybody that worked for me.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And at that point, kind of the journey, my buddy Josh Sigmund brought me into the Corps, brought me to an event, and I signed up for coaching. And the
for
way
you to be coached,
for me to be coached,
okay. Mm-hmm.
and what they promised was in 2 years, a 2-year commitment, they would double my income.
Okay.
I was like, man, I just made a bunch of money in 2009.
Yep.
I signed up for coaching in 2010. I remember thinking if I can just repeat
Yep.
09, I'll be happy.
Yep.
But really what I learned was how to track everything, how to build a team. And one of the cool things with the Corps is that we track not only their income, but their savings.
Okay.
And so we talk about that a little bit later, but I track that information for my students, right? And so they have a dashboard. I have a monthly income dashboard and a monthly savings dashboard, and then we track what we give to charity as well.
And to charity as well.
Uh-huh.
So that's a big part of the model.
Yeah, we gave $22 million last year as an organization. 500 members.
500 members.
Gave $22 million.
Dear Lord, is that like an average of, is
It's
it
a bunch.
40,000?
Probably 40,000.
40,000 a head. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
we had maybe 10 guys give over $1 million to charity last year.
No
In a
kidding.
year that was a hard year.
Yeah, that was a hard
2022.
year.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. Like I'm learning some things about the Corps, and we're going to dive in even deeper because it certainly appears as such. It appears as though the core not only changed the trajectory of your mortgage career, but it also helped point you in a direction that made you a better human being.
Well, if you, as you know, having a team
Yeah.
frees you up and gives you back some work-life balance,
Yeah.
right? And so a big piece of it is building a team so that they can help cater to your clients so that you can bring in the business. And then as you work on your money,
Yeah.
and you know what gets measured gets done, right? So
Yep.
we track everything. And as you start to track a dashboard of savings, like, I don't know, maybe my dashboard was 25 grand of income, and to save 20%, that's our golden rule, right? Save 20% of your gross paycheck.
Okay.
So all of a sudden I had to start saving $5 grand a month. And then as you make more money, you're starting to save more money and you're living on a budget. And so every month you're trying to reduce some more expenses because it's on your mind. And that's what we're in this for, right? I don't want to do this until I'm 75. You don't want me to do this until I'm 75.
I don't want you doing this for, until 75. I want you playing golf in the afternoons, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that too, because I know our boy Caden, your son, is, he's really lighting it up. And I want to hear about that because I know you're super proud of him. All your kids. But what I'm hearing you say is that related to the core, that also helped you with your team building, because you were a one-man show doing your own processing, which I don't know how you drifting. Yeah. Right. And so they get you pointed
motivated. I was motivated.
Yep.
And I was hustling, and it was out of desperation. I knew I had student loans coming due, and I had no choice but to I had no choice but to make
what people
money.
don't know, at Trinity, you pay student loans for 20 years, and then you're halfway done.
That's right.
So so let's fast forward a little bit from there. You get involved with the core. You're paying a coach. What is it now? Is it like $3 grand a month?
Yeah, back then it was like $2 grand a month.
Okay.
To be coached in groups of 3, and they're about your size, and so you're competing with 2 other people on your call, and you're learning from 2 of your peers.
Okay.
And then you have a coach that's coaching you, and it's a call every 2 weeks. It's an hour long.
Okay.
Every 2 weeks, so it's twice a month.
Okay.
Sometimes you get an extra third call, but what we focus on is your lead tracker. So I learned to start to track every single lead. Like, that's the first tip, right?
Yep.
If you're not tracking all your leads, you should track all your leads.
Yep. Right.
Right. And so when I went to my first event, I can go all the way back to 2008, and I've got every single lead I've ever gotten since 2008 written on paper.
Okay.
All the way back, right? 15 years of that stuff. So tracking our leads, that'll tell you where your leads are coming from and what your conversion is, right? And then tracking your income, we call that a pay log, right? Where you're tracking all your closings for the month.
Okay.
And then you track your activity on a form, we call it the Greatness Tracker, but we're tracking face-to-face meetings, break breads, right? Having a drink, having breakfast, having coffee. Then we track your conversations.
Okay.
And then a few
like
other
Big
things.
Brother, sound like the U.S. government here, dude.
I mean,
he
we're
military? Was he military? I'm trying to remember. No. Okay, maybe he should be.
But
we could use him in leadership,
right?
The way that our politics is going in this country, we could probably use someone like that at the top.